Donald Trump spent his first weekend as president-elect at Trump Tower in New York City, where his trusted advisors got to work hammering out critical decisions like naming the White House chief of staff. We now know that all-important job goes to Reince Priebus, a Washington insider tied to the Republican establishment. We begin our coverage tonight with Chief National Correspondent Ed Henry and what this tells us, this pick potentially about a Trump presidency.
Well, Shannon, good to see you, and there's a practical part of this, which is that building a government is daunting enough, and there was a logjam on filling literally hundreds of jobs until Donald Trump got this power structure in place. But he also may be trying to fuse these vastly different wings of the Republican Party, the revolutionary side from Breitbart News and the establishment side from the RNC.
President-elect Donald Trump made it official, tapping Steve Bannon to be chief strategist and senior counselor, while Reince Priebus will serve as White House chief of staff.
Reince is a superstar.
The outgoing Republican Party chairman is more of a tactician, and his close ties with House Speaker and fellow Wisconsinite Paul Ryan may smooth the passage of Trump's legislative agenda. Bannon was more the big picture guy as CEO of the campaign and was a lightning rod of criticism because of his role in the alt-right movement, but has the loyalty of Trump after leading him to victory.
The thing about Steve Bannon that people don't understand is that in this campaign, he's been the general, and he's worked very closely with Reince Priebus and the rest of us.
Bannon tried quickly to tamp down speculation about two different power centers in the White House by touting their partnership, while Priebus vowed to help Trump, quote, create an economy that works for everyone, secure our borders, repeal and replace Obamacare, and destroy radical Islamic terrorism. The president-elect also signaled immigration as a top priority in an interview with CBS's 60 Minutes, vowing to swiftly deport millions of illegal immigrants.
Gang members, drug dealers, we have a lot of these people, probably 2 million, it could even be 3 million. We're getting them out of our country or we're going to incarcerate.
Picking an insider like Priebus may help in Washington, but is also a warning sign for Trump not to lose sight of the outsider message that got him elected.
The swamp doesn't want to be drained, and the swamp will just suck you in if you let it.
Trump, for example, set off alarm bells with supporters by listening to President Obama lobby him about keeping some of his legacy items in place, and then telling the Wall Street Journal and 60 Minutes in separate interviews that he'll keep some parts of Obamacare.
Also with the children living with their parents for an extended period.
Now, a lot of Trump critics are missing. He already said during the campaign he would keep popular parts of Obamacare, keeping kids on their parents' plans, and preventing insurance companies from not covering pre-existing conditions. Some of Trump's rabid supporters, though, want nothing short of a full repeal. And that's, Shannon, really the big problem, which is there's sort of a push and pull here. Is he going to deliver on radical reform, or is he going to find some compromises that upset his supporters?
Yeah, and as you and I know, it's very tricky on the Hill to get big things moving. But, you know, with the same party controlling multiple prongs now, there's a lot of pressure on them to get that done. I understand you have a little bit of behind the scenes about this power struggle that allegedly was going on that winded up with Reince Priebus in place.
There was some pushing for Bannon to be chief of staff, and I'm told that privately both Speaker Paul Ryan and Senator McConnell, the majority leader, of course, called Donald Trump and personally lobbied hard for Priebus, Ryan being from Wisconsin as well. But this was also anti-Bannon. Let's not mask that, which is Bannon has been very direct in saying he wants Ryan out. He was pushing for his challenger in the primary to win. And so that is something to watch here. They won out this time, the congressional leaders, the insiders, but Bannon's still got power inside the White House. He's not going to forget that.
Yeah, absolutely, as chief strategist. Now, what about the influence of Vice President-elect Mike Pence, who's now heading this up?
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be growing. I mean, I'm hearing that part of the reason that Chris Christie was sort of sidelined was not just about Bridgegate, but that people inside the transition say he was sort of stocking it with some of his own loyalists. That was alarming, both Mike Pence and Donald Trump, though I'm told that Christie is still in the running for a major job within the administration down the road. In terms of Pence, this is somebody who tomorrow night, we're told, is going to Florida. The Republican Governors Association is meeting. He's going to have a private dinner with them. He's obviously an outgoing Republican governor himself, but there are a lot of potential cabinet picks from the Republican governors, so he's got influence there. He used to be a leader in the House Republican Conference. He's going to be working with Ryan and McConnell, and now he's running the transition. The name Dick Cheney hasn't been used yet, Shannon, but in terms of vice president with real influence, Mike Pence is looking like someone who's got it.
Well, and there are a lot of people who say they want to see that. They felt like during the campaign that Trump was, you know, a loose cannon at times.
A little bit undisciplined, right? And Mike Pence is somebody who's seen, frankly, that's why Donald Trump picked him, right? He's somebody who's different. He's not out on Twitter saying things. Instead, Mike Pence is very buttoned down, cautious, careful. That is a nice contrast to the guy at the top of the ticket and now the incoming president.
They complement each other well. We could say that.
It worked in the campaign.
Yeah, it worked so far. We'll see how it translates here in Washington. Yeah, that's a whole nother ball game. Are you hearing anything else about timing for big picks, like cabinet members and those kinds of things?
Well, look, by this time, I covered the Obama transition. He had already had a news conference. He had his chief of staff in place a couple of days earlier than this. It's not like they're way behind or anything like that. But they realize inside the transition, the people I've talked to, they've got to start rolling out some of these cabinet picks because you're going to have, even though you've got a Republican majority and you can get around the filibuster because of some of the things that Harry Reid did, it's not going to be smooth sailing for all these picks. You have to get going. So some of these cabinet picks, I'm told, are coming this week.
All right, we'll be standing by. We know you will let us know. Ed Henry,
good to see you.
Good to see you, too.